Hello everyone, my name is JaCubAsAlways, and welcome back to another educational commentary on how to win in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon competitive Draft League format. Today we're going to be talking about how to counteract rain teams in Draft League format and what precautions you should take while team building and everything like that. Now, you're not going to have all the tools I had in this matchup because my team is pretty much well constructed to be any given team. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead, and I know I haven't done one of these in about a month, but I just wanted to go ahead and do it again because I enjoy these and I want to upload these more frequently than I would, but I've just been busy with the verses and everything like that, so I haven't had the most time under the sun. I was just trying to find my cat is meowing very, very loud out there, so if you hear it, I apologize. Anyway, let's get started. So this is the same draft team we used last time. It's still APA Showdown, where I'm not gonna. Well, actually, yeah, I'm not gonna say if we. Well, actually, it's how to win, so obviously you're winning all these games. But yeah, we're currently 9-0 plus 30, so we're trying to go for an undefeated season right now. This is like I'm gonna be doing these out of order. This is actually week number 6. We're facing Banded Caterpie. If I know his Twitter and YouTube, that'll be in the description down below. But anyway, he's got a pretty spooky team, especially for Tier 3 and under format. So let's get started. So if you guys don't remember from last time, our team is as followed: Cobalion, Linoon, Slowking, Decidueye, Moltres, Guzzlord, Diancie, Garbodor, Zebstrika, Mudsdale, and Acelgor. Our Z Pokemon are Cobalion and Acelgor. Bandit Caterpie's team is Kingdra, Pelipper, Kabutops, Alolan Muck, Miltank, Cloyster, Toxicroak, Escavalier, Raichu, Seismitoad, and Castform. So the only thing I'm not really worried... Oh, Z Pokemon are Kingdra and Castform. So the only thing I'm really not too worried about on his team is Castform. Like, I didn't see that coming at all. So every single other Pokemon I could see merit for coming, especially Pokemon like Alolan Muck, because it can deal with Slowking. Like Toxicroak, like any Pokemon is pretty much viable for him in this matchup except for Castform. Castform really didn't do a whole lot. I'm sure he just picked it up for the memes. But looking at team matchup, the biggest threats I was actually worried about are like a Dragon Dance Kingdra in the rain. That could be really spooky because we don't have anything that would speed a +3 Kingdra. So if he chooses to go, like with Dragonium Z especially, that's really, really scary. So we had to build our team in such a way so we don't lose to that, as well as other things like Miltank's actually a big issue for our team to deal with outside of Cobalion. So I instantly knew Cobalion should come, and especially with Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword is especially nice in this matchup for like I was kind of afraid of a Curse Miltank to a degree, as well as a Curse Alolan Muck. So I thought Sacred Sword is actually pretty darn effective in this matchup, so that's why I chose to go that route. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But since he's got rain, in order to like scout the rain and scout specific things on the rain, I actually have this exact specific Zebstrika. So based on his speed tiers and stuff, what was really, really nice about this is we were able to go Modest Nature with the Zebstrika, so we can hit a little bit harder because Zebstrika does not hit hard at all. And we can actually run Thunder, HP Grass, Overheat, and Volt Switch because this hits his entire team neutrally or super effectively. There's nothing on his team that resists the combination of these 3 types of moves: Grass, Fire, and Electric. So I thought it was really important to go this route. So Volt Switch just is nice for momentum. Because his ground type is Seismitoad, we can just run HP Grass for that, and if he brings it neat, we don't even have to predict. Because like, say it is Pelipper versus Zebstrika in a lead matchup potentially, I can just freely go for Volt Switch. If he goes to Seismitoad, we will live any hit no matter what because of our Sash. We can click HP Grass, see if it's Rindo Berry, see whatever type it is. If he wants to go for Rocks, then we proceed to probably to KO it. Unless it's like Spadaf Rindo Berry, but for the most part, we're going to be able to be really, really effective with the Zebstrika. So yeah, that's Zebstrika. Zebstrika in a nutshell. Like, you don't really need to go too in depth with Zebstrika because it's just there to like scout for a potential Scarfer like early game, because this outspeeds every single Pokemon aside from Raichu, which Raichu can't do too much to us because it's pretty weak, and it can't even hit its stab because of Lightning Rod. While we can't hit it with our stab because of its Lightning Rod, I'm not really too worried about that. Like, we have ways of dealing with Raichu, and Raichu would never sweep us because I would just spam HP Grass if I needed to do that or needed to go that route. And if it's Scarfed Raichu, we have ways of dealing with that as well, which you'll get to. So, because we did bring a Selgor, so we'll get to that. And plus, we have another way. Unless if it's Scarfed Raichu, like, we have one way of we have a couple of different ways of dealing with it. But like I was just stating a minute or two ago, we actually did decide to go with a Titanium Z Cobalion with Sacred Sword, SD, Stone Edge, and Stealth Rock. Stone Edge is there to hit Pelipper. I believe +2 with our investment would Oko after rocks, so I think that's what our investment was for. And plus, just hits his entire, like, fighting plus rock hits his entire team really hard. He doesn't really have many switch-ins for the combination of this. The only thing that comes to mind is Toxicroak, but we do have ways of dealing with Toxicroak for the most part. And I don't know if he would just bring Toxicroak to this matchup anyway. He potentially could have, but we have quite a few ways of dealing with it, so I really wasn't too worried about it. But yeah, I just wanted these moves because we need a Rocks to pressure his team, to weaken down his team, especially with the ways of him removing our Kabutops, which Decidueye can kind of deal with. Cloyster, which Decidueye can deal with, kind of, or it'll spin block at least, not necessarily deal with. Then he's got Default Pelipper, which will take 25% or 24.5% or whatever coming into Rocks. So I'm not that worried about his removal. I'm not worried about him. We're not gonna like spike stack him or anything, because I honestly don't think. I think too many people in Draft League format try to spike stack or toxic spike stack or do those things. Toxic spikes are a lot better than spikes, in my opinion, in Draft League format. But I think some people try to spike stack way too often. I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen people spike stack way too often than they should. Especially when any competent player, if they know they don't have the best removal, and if they see like a spooky spike stacker like Roserade or Selgor, or just like anything, I'm just naming things in tier 3 and under format, they will prep for that. They will have ways to pressure those things before they can even spike stack on them. They won't let themselves get spike stacked on or prevent it as much as they possibly can. And honestly, like, I think personally, hazard removal is pretty overrated. I'm sorry, but like, I don't really think you absolutely need the best removal in the game. Like, you don't need a Tapu Fini, you don't need a Starmie, you don't need anything to... You don't necessarily need removal unless you, like, draft... Even if you draft a Pokemon like Volcarona or a Talonflame, like, you absolutely... Yes, it's important to try to get removal, but just pressure your opponent to not set those up, and you don't have to worry about removal. Like, the last few Draft Leagues I've been in, I've had, like, no removal. In the APA Season 3... Wi-Fi, I had Fortress, and I know Fortress. That was like the only normal one I had, but like besides that, I had nothing. I had Murkrow for part of the season, and then I had Articuno, which I dropped, and I picked up something else that had removal, I think, in tier 5, but I don't remember. But it's overrated, hazard removal. Like, a lot of players that I've been talking to, like Aki, VGC, like, I know he doesn't prioritize removal. I'm pretty sure Gypsy King doesn't really prioritize removal. Just players I've watched that I respect a lot, like the two I just named just to name a couple, like, they've said it themselves, but yeah, you don't really need hazard removal. End of my tangent though, but yeah, anyway, Cobalion's just a nice breaker for this game in order for us to win with our 2 potential win cons, which we'll get to. But next up, I wanted a way to combat like a special Kingdra, mostly. And other things on his team. That's kind of it. And then a soft check to his Kabutops, depending on the set. And that was actually an Assaultless Slowking with Grass Knot, Psychic, Scald, and Flamethrower. So, yes, it does a decent check. It's a decent check to, like, Kingdra, but, like, it can actually, with the investment we have into special defense, HP, and everything like that, it can actually take a crit Draco, so, from a Sniper Kingdra. So that's important. It can also take a +1 Dragonium with our defense investment if we need to do that after rocks, that is, for both of those. It can do a lot of things this matchup. Grass Knot is amazing versus any rain team. This also helps us check Raichu to a degree. Even like we can live a +2 net. We can live some electric moves from it if we need to go that route. I wouldn't do that unless we absolutely had to. But Slowking is just a nice overall pivot, as any regenerator mon usually is. And Slowking is just really good. Like, it doesn't get the most kills for us in our 9 games that we've played, but it's just a nice pivot to have on any given battle. So Salt Vest regenerator mons, I like that a lot. But Slowking is just a nice pivot to his team. Like we didn't like, it's good to bring. Also, it can kill Toxicroak. I think we could EV'd it so we can live. Was it +2 knockoff maybe? But yeah, it also deals with Cloyster extremely well. Cloyster does nothing to us, so we made sure we could live at +2 Rock Blast as well. There's just like so much this does. We just cannot let ourselves get Pursuit Trapped by Alolan Muck if we can help it, because we kind of need this thing healthy for Kingdra. We have a couple ways of checking Kingdra in the rain, but we needed this way for sure to deal with it. So there's Slowking for us. Next up, I actually wanted to check to Raichu, and that actually is our Decidueye with a very funky EV spread. So I'm Colberberry for a couple of reasons, so I don't get Pursuit Trapped by Alolan Muck. We have U-Turn, so I could have ran Baton Pass, but I wanted some chip damage. That's why I ran U-Turn over it. But Leaf Blade, Roost, Toxic, U-Turn just is really, really nice versus his team. It can deal with quite a bit. Our speed is for Adamant, Alolan Muck, I believe is what it was. But that's pretty nice. Leaf Blade hits us in team extremely hard. U-Turn gets initiative on the Alolan Muck. Yes, he could potentially bring Sap Sipper Miltank, which is why we have Toxic in it. Roost just for longevity and to keep ourselves healthy. But this is just a nice check, like, to most of his team. Yes, we do nothing to a Scavalier, but I'm not all that worried about a Scavalier. The only thing it can really do to Gobalion is Drill Run, which it would have to carry. So I just want to weaken that thing, and we have Flamethrower on Slowking and Overheat on Zebstrika to whittle down that. Even if it's in the rain, like, we can eventually whittle it down and beat it. But I would only go that route with Slowking if I absolutely had to. I wouldn't really want to do that if I didn't have to do that. But yeah, it's just a nice pivot to deal with like Alolan Raichu and stuff. And plus, I don't think he would. Don't know if he brings Sap Sipper Miltank. I really think he. What is it? Sap Sipper, Thick Fat. Yeah, I don't think he'd bring Thick Fat even. Like he might have brought Sap Sipper, but Sap Sipper is actually probably the best. Or Scrappy he would have brought, but Sap Sipper makes more sense because he's completely immune to Decidueye, so U-Turn's nice for that. But Decidueye is pretty solid in this matchup, so if you guys have any further questions, by the way, about the battle or the educational commentary, let me know in the comments. I'll answer them for sure. But Decidueye is awesome. But next up, let's go to one of our 2 win cons. Obviously, we got our boy A-Rod, Linoon. Like, it's a funky set, but there is reason and merit behind it. So the reason for this is because Facade hits his entire team really, really hard. So the only thing that it can't really do, hit hard, is a Scavalier. But that's why we have Titanium Z on Cobalion. That's why we have Fire coverage and Slowking and Zebstrika. And just whittle that thing down. Once the Scavalier is gone, this thing puts in the finest of work. So if it's a Dragon Dance Kingdra, this is the amount of speed that I think he would run in his Kingdra. Or about he would creep our Garbodor with his Kingdra. So that's why I'm running this much speed in Linoon, so we outspeed that, and plus we still hit pretty hard with Adamant Nature. We have Toxic Orb over Flame Orb because we're Quick Feet as well instead of Gluttony, because I didn't think I would be able to sweep with, I guess looking back, I could have ran the other set because he didn't have a Ghost type, but I didn't know what I would set up on, because in the rain, there's so many things that hits my this thing so really, really hard, especially in the rain. Cubbytops could probably just OHKO it almost, depending on the set, of course. Muck can't really, actually Muck can't do much to us. He could poison us with a Poison Touch, which I scouted some of his games. He ran Poison Touch Muck a lot, so I didn't really want to do that. Didn't want to mess around with that. But I just wanted to kind of break his team and whittle his team down and kind of run something different, kind of on me a little bit. So don't necessarily run this set, but I ran this set because I wanted to think another check to Dragon Dance Kingdra. Plus Facade hits his entire team really, really hard. And this also checks, what else does this check? Like just any non-Scarf Pokemon in his team. This thing outspeeds everything on his team outside of Scarfers, like Raichu and +2 Cloyster, and then anything in the rain. So Seismitoad, Kabutops, or Kingdra. So it checked everything, and Facade did a lot of damage to pretty much everything on his team. That's why I ran it. And Grass or Seed Bomb for his Quadras, weak Pokemon, the grass. So Lino's just really, really nice in this matchup. It's one of our 2 win cons. It's kind of more of a breaker than a win con, but it could potentially win the game if his team is weakened and everything's put in the range of Facade / Seed Bomb / E-Speed. So that's really nice to have. I guess E-Speed was just there just in case I needed extra chip. Like, say I didn't have, it got knocked off somehow, like the Toxic Orb got knocked off. I needed that Extreme Speed, or say Kingdra was in the rain. Extreme Speed was just nice to have. Just in case we needed that extra oomph to get us through, because we didn't outspeed Kingdra in the rain. So if it was in range of Extreme Speed, it's super nice. I think it needed to be like 33 to 39 or something like that. I don't remember the exact calc, but I remember myself calcing that during it. But that's our line. So last but not least, we are bringing Scarf to Selgor. So this isn't the first time I brought a Scarf Mon or like a Quick Feet Mon or something in versus a rain team. So if you guys remember correctly, versus Choice CJ in the P4G Next Generation first round of the playoffs, we actually brought Quick Feet Jolteon to outspeed his Rain Core, the Seismitoad in specific. So what I calculated is Scarf to Selgor actually outspeeds Adamant Kingdra. We couldn't go, or not Adamant Modest or Adamant Kingdra, whatever you want to do, in the rain. So I actually went that route for sure. Let me see this actually. I think it actually outspeed Timid. No. It's just Adamant. No, it is Timid Kingdra actually. So that's important. So Timid Kingdra we actually outspeed. So that's A-okay with me. This is like our win con, basically. Put every single thing into range of a Selgor and win the game. And I specifically have Sticky Hold, so my Choice Scarf can never be knocked off by, like, I'm never going to switch this in to a Mon like Kabutops or anything like that, because that'd be silly. But what this was for, this HP and defense investment, was so we could live in the Adamant Life Orb Aqua Jet in the rain from a Kabutops. So I just thought that was really important, because then we could live that. That's after rocks, by the way. That way you could live it and just win with Energy Ball or Bug Buzz at that point, depending on what we need to click. HP Electric for Pelipper, just in case we need to go that route as well. It all depends what y'all brought. It all depends what would that happen. But this also checked, obviously, +2 Cloyster. So if you're in Jolly or Timid or Naive, whatever you wanted to run, we still outsped. So that was also cool. So nothing on his team really could kill our team effectively. And I also ran Baton Pass in order to play around like a little muck. Say like I felt like leading with this or something like this. My lead was pretty much always going to be Zipstrika though, because I was pretty sure he was going to bring rain versus us. But Selgor is here as a potential lead if we wanted to go there. And if we led a little muck, I click Baton Pass and not get Pursuit Trapped, and then go into the likes of Cobalion essentially. So, and then potentially just start wrecking havoc on his team or getting rocks up. Whatever we felt necessary to win this game. So, to recap, we basically built our team to not lose to any sort of rain, to not lose to anything on his entire team, any kind of setup on his entire team, really. I guess the only thing we're kind of weak to is Toxicroak, but we still had ways of beating Toxicroak nonetheless. So, because their Slowking could take a +2 knockoff. I think it was not Life Orb, though. But we had ways of checking pretty much every single Pokemon on his entire team. Also, Facade on Linoon after we got the quick Facade boost from the Toxic Orb would Oko Toxic Orb too. So there's a lot of things that I'm not really that I was worried about, that I felt we basically checked off the list entirely. So, but yeah, let's get to the battle. So I will transition to the battle now. Okay guys, we are back and we're ready to show off this battle. So as you can see, he brought Pelipper, Kingdra, Alolan Muck, Cloyster, Raichu, and Miltank. So immediately I knew Miltank was his Stealth Rocker because he had nothing else on his team that could get rocks. Now I'm pretty sure he probably brought Defog Pelipper because that's probably a setting up Cloyster, which I don't know if that was necessarily the right bring versus me, but I guess maybe he didn't expect me to be competent enough to bring Choice Scarf Selgor, even though I knew it outspat every single thing on his team in the rain, or through the rain, as long as we're good. But predicting his Pelipper lead or anything really, I'm actually going to lead with Substrika because I wanted to check and see if anything was potentially scarfed on his team. The only Scarfer that I could really see him bringing is like Pelipper, but at the same time, like he kind of needed Damp Rock in order to win with Kingdra. So I guess the potential leads that I saw him leading with were either Cloyster or Pelipper. So, or even Alolan Muck. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and lead off with my Substrika here, and he leads with Alolan Muck. So I'm gonna go for Volt Switch right into Cobalion. I get a crit, which tells me he's actually Assault Vest Alolan Muck. And I just go straight into Cobalion, and he clicks the knockoff, which I'm actually kind of surprised that he made that play, considering Cobalion was a pretty safe switch in, because the only thing he really could do to me was like Brick Break. So I'm actually kind of surprised that he made that play first turn. So I'm actually going to go get my rocks up next turn with my Cobalion, because they're free rocks, because considering our Cobalion was a potential Z Pokemon, like I didn't actually think that he would, I don't think he would stay in with Alolan Muck because we could have just blown him back with a +1 Fightinium Z, which we actually were Fightinium Z. We were Sacred Sword, not close combat though, so he wouldn't be doing as much damage, but I still think it would have died with the crit. But I just go into Slowking here, scouting this Pelipper. I wanted to see what type of Pelipper it was, as he actually goes for Defog, which I kind of predicted. And I'm actually just going to fire off a Psychic, I believe, or was it a Scald? No, I fire off a free Scald here. Now I remember. Because Scald was completely free, and yes, we could get Pursuit Trap by Alolan Muck here, and it probably has Pursuit Trap, but I felt like if we get that burn, plus it's not going to necessarily appreciate a rain boosted Scald, so that's nice. And also, if I eliminated Alolan Muck, Decidueye's job is going to be a lot easier, and since I know it's a Self-Vest, that's like his best way of dealing with a Selgor, especially if Rock Throw. So I felt it was worth the damage and trying to get a potential burn. But he is going to pursue Trap us, but that doesn't do that much damage because I knew it was a Assault Vest and not like a Black Glasses item or a Choice Band item. And based on the knockoff damage, I knew he wasn't completely infested into attack, so I knew it couldn't kill unless he got a crit. And plus we have Regenerator, so we'll be back up to 55%. And plus I plan on switching this in later down the line and trying to just get it in cheeky. So this time with Cobalion, I'm just going to set up a Swords Dance, predicting the Pelipper, and I'm going to fire off a Stone Edge just to see what type of Pelipper it is, as he actually goes into Kingdra and takes a lot of damage. Now, I don't really necessarily agree with this play, because if Kingdra has a potential Wing Con, why switch in your Wing Con when you don't have to switch in your Wing Con? That's always my mindset. Like, if you have a Wing Con, instead of preemptively or prematurely going for that win or trying to get it in, it's not necessarily worth taking that much damage because he took 68% from my Stone Edge. So that's really important to know. But I just go to Slowking here because I know I can take any hit. And if he wants to, and I know he's pretty much in range of a Psychic at this point, or if he's not in range of a Psychic, but if he's not in range of Psychic, we have Extreme Speed for Linoon to chip it off if we have to go that route, or Scarf a Selgor even. But he goes for a Surf, revealing that he is Choice Specs because it does a lot of damage. Yes, it's in the rain. Yes, it's Specs, and Kingdra has decent special attack. But we're Assault Vest Slowking, so I'm just gonna fire off, and actually gonna double into my Substrika here because if he wants to go for a Surf, here's my mindset. If he wants to go in for a Surf right here, be my guest. He can for sure. If he wants to go for a Surf right there, it won't kill us. We'll live with our Sash, and we'll be fine. If he goes to a Alolan Muck, better yet, we don't get Pursuit Trapped and lose our Slowking. So I didn't want to lose our Slowking right there, because Slowking is integral to deal with his Kingdra now that I know its item for sure, which is Specs. So I go into Substrika, and he goes into Miltank. I just go for a Volt Switch, because even if Alolan Raichu gets a special attack boost, I don't really care about it that much, because it's not beating my team based on the way we brought. We have Extreme Speed Linoon, we have Decidueye, which is bulky, and we have Scarf for Selgor, so I don't care. We can just go for a free Volt Switch, and he's not that bulky as Spadef, wise because the strike is pretty piss poor. And I go straight into Cobalion here. Now what I'm going to do is actually stop my own rocks because rocks pressure his team more than it pressures my team. So I'm not really that worried about him getting rocks up. He'll have to defog later if he really wants to, if he wants to preserve a potential focus dash on Cloyster. So he's going to have to defog if he really wants to. So I actually go for rocks as he goes for body slam, and luckily for us, he does not get a paralysis. So what I'm going to do is actually fire off my Z move and just knock out this Miltank right here, I believe so. Yeah, it just knocks out Miltank completely, and this is why Z moves are just so really damn good in general. Like, I don't understand why you would not bring Z moves to pretty much every single battle that you could possibly do. They're just broken. They're like the best thing in the game. Like, they're so good. They allow you to break things that you shouldn't be able to break, and that's why I really, really like Z moves, because it makes Pokemon have so much more potential. Like, Pokemon that are usually piss poor, slap a Z move on it. Like, if it gets set up, you can slap a Z move on it and like hit something really, really strong. It just allows weaker Pokemon to do better. Like, Cobalion's not that strong. It's only got 90, I think a 91 attack on each attack stat. But the fact of the matter is, it can do a lot of damage if you allow it to do that. So that's why I kind of want to just go off a Z move, because without a Z move, we were not going to OHKO that Miltank there or knock it out from that range. So that's important, because now that Miltank's gone, if he chooses to defog, which I doubt he would at this current juncture, because rocks are going to whittle down our team a little bit. Yeah, it's just so nice. It doesn't matter. It's awesome. But yeah, he goes into Raichu to threaten out our Cobalion. So I'm just going to go straight to Decidueye because it is our check to Raichu, as he goes for a Surf. I figured he might have gone for Volt Switch to get momentum since we didn't bring a ground type, but maybe he was predicting our Zebstrike to come in, so I really wasn't too worried. But now our play 100% is go for a U-turn because we're not getting trapped by a little muck. And there we go. We can go straight back into Linoon and get our Toxic Orb activated, because I thought that was important. Because that way we outspeed every single thing on his team, and we can start punching, or potentially trying to punch holes for our team. Because at this point, I thought he was in range of pretty much everything. So at this point, we were going to get a kill no matter what here. We kill Muck right there because he's got no switch-ins to this monster. Like, he's got no switch-ins to this. Pelipper will get to a KO, Kingdra will die, Cloyster will get to a KO, Raichu will die. So he just has to sack off a little Muck sadly there, which means our Soul King is really looking really, really good right now. So he goes into his Pelipper to get the rain up right here. As I just fire off Facade just to see how much it's going to do, as it potentially to a KOs from that range. As he goes for a Scald, and I know we'll live no matter what the next poison damage. So then we can just fire off another Facade. So Linoon putting in a lot of work here. Linoon doesn't even die to his team. It dies to itself. But Linoon did its work. It broke down his team. It's basically going to make it so we don't lose to rain anymore. And what I'm going to do now is just go to a Selgor, because I know no matter what he goes, I feel like Kingdra's going to come in to try to just claim a life. So I go to Selgor here, and if he goes to Kingdra or Cloyster, we claim a kill no matter what here. So I'm just going to click Bug Buzz and knock out this Kingdra. And yeah, Selgor picks up a kill. And he goes to Cloyster, which he should have known we were Scarf. So he should have known his Raichu probably could have lived from that range, and he should have wanted that rather than Cloyster. But I guess it didn't really matter all that much, because no matter what, he would not have been able to set up. Because if he goes into Raichu, Decidueye takes a hit, and then we just knock it out with a Leaf Blade. And then he goes to Cloyster, he can't set up because Leaf Blade will kill it. And then we go to, and then Cobalion can kill it then anyway. So at this point, it didn't really matter, but it would have gotten him one more differential point. So I go for a Bug Buzz right here and knock out Cloyster. As he goes into Raichu right here, and we go for Bug Buzz, and it does a lot of damage, but doesn't knock it out. And Thunderbolt does a lot, which I think he was pretty much specs based on the damage, because it did quite a bit to Decidueye, or he has Zap Plate, because that did a lot of damage to the Selgor. I know it doesn't have the best defenses in the world, but it's got, like, alright, like, special defense plus HP stat. You'd think it would have been able to take that hit. It wasn't a Thunder, it was a Thunderbolt, so, but it must have been Zap Plate or an offensive item in some way, or some capacity. But we need to go to Decidueye, because we know we can live any hit. And we go for a Leaf Blade and knock it out, and that'll be the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this educational commentary on how to combat rain teams, or I'm not sure what I'm going to entitle this. Well, it'll be like how to win episode 2, but like in the thumbnail, it'd be like something how to combat rain teams or something, or how to face a rain team, or Rain teams, I don't know what it's going to be. But anyways, thanks you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this educational commentary. It should be up the 24th of July, probably about like 8 o'clock or so. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I love you all. Peace.